All right, so welcome back to a little bit of everything sports.blogspot.com for the second video podcast alongside Nate Vanderwall. Paul Sanford couldn't make it today. We're hoping to do a three-person panel, but that ain't gonna happen. We got the awards session today for both postseason college and postseason NFL. I know it's been a couple weeks since the Super Bowl, rather boring Super Bowl, I might add. Probably because the Patriots weren't there. Throw that out there. But yeah, we got a whole list of just goofy, some serious awards, but some goofy ones as well. So we're gonna take it off. I'm gonna ask you first. Cam Newton, MVP, or do you think there was somebody else that probably could have gotten that award?
No, I think Cam Newton definitely was probably the MVP. A lot of people want to be like, oh no, he shouldn't have been after that Super Bowl because this Super Bowl was absolutely hideous. But I mean, you could throw out names like Adrian Peterson.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, I really think that Cam Newton through the regular season, especially, was just dominant, and there really wasn't another person who you could really solidify as the MVP other than him.
Absolutely, and I think that's the MVP. That's the goal of the MVP award. Who is the most valuable player in the regular season? No one cares about the postseason or Super Bowl. That's why they have a Super Bowl MVP.
And you look at what Cam Newton did is he took a franchise and was able to give it a face. I mean, they were coming along gradually, but able to take that step from being bad to good to now great. You know, threatening to win every single game and then making it all the way to the Super Bowl. Although he had an awful performance in the Super Bowl, I really think that's what an MVP type caliber would really be.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm gonna agree with that 100%. I'm a little sick of hearing about all the sore loser Seattle fans getting after him. Did you hear about that letter some lady wrote, an open letter online? Some lady wrote an open letter online talking about how she hated Cam Newton's antics and that while he was gonna be playing, what was it, Arizona in the NFC Championship game, that their quarterback Russell Wilson would be going and donating money and time to charity and all that stuff. Cam Newton does the exact same thing. All right, he donates just as much time and money, if not more, to charity and stuff like that, and giving back to the fans and stuff like that. I mean, he hands a football to a kid on the sideline every time he scores a touchdown. People can get all mad about his antics on the sideline.
It's just Seattle fans.
And I'm gonna say this: Seattle last year, that was you. That was you. Your Legion of Boom, your 12th man. That was you. So shut up.
No, I'm a Seattle fan. I'm gonna throw it out there. You might hate me.
No,
I'm a Seattle fan, but like the thing about them and us, if I can throw us in there, is they are very protective. Seattle has sucked for so long.
Yep.
In the last 5 years, actually being good has like turned the beast on inside Seattle fans. So now it's like anytime anyone comes at Seattle, now we actually lost. We were beat. People just need to accept that. They get pissed off and angry. So that's basically what it is people need to chill a little bit. It is football, but coming from a Seattle understanding, people have loved their Seahawks for forever. People have been loyal there. There's been nothing at the football games going on but rain for the past 30-some years. And then finally they have people they can actually root for. So there's a little bit of like tension and ownership there.
Yeah, unless you believe the social media thing that all Seattle fans are bandwagons. I remember seeing all the memes like that. I remember seeing like a Army Hummer sitting in the middle of an open field, and it was saying, "Roger that, sir. There are no Seattle fans in sight anywhere." Saying, after that, they're bandwagon stuff like that, or that all Seattle fans last year were Carolina fans this year. That sort of thing. I mean, I understand some Seattle fans like you and some of the other guys I've heard calling on the radio like are respectable, but there have been a bunch of idiots as well that have called in and gotten after Newton about his dancing and stuff like that. I'm like, the guy.
Yeah.
And with somebody here in campus, Justin Geertz?
Oh, yeah,
here on campus, he wrote an article this week talking about giving, because Newton walked out on his post-Super Bowl press conference.
Understandable.
He overheard, Dwayne Harris, I think it was? So one of the corners for Denver talking about Denver's game plan, how to stop Newton, and they were within earshot of each other, so Newton got up and walked out. I don't blame him one bit. I mean, you just lost the biggest game of your life. You're upset. And then media's expecting him to be all smile, jokes, stuff like that. You just lost a Super Bowl, okay? Yeah. Russell Wilson was not all smile and jokes after he threw that interception last year. Tom Brady's not all smile and jokes after he lost 2 Super Bowls in a row to the Giants. It's what do you expect out of this guy? Just because he's dancing around when he scores a touchdown doesn't mean he's gonna be that way after a loss. So,
true.
I give him a pass on that, and Yeah, I just don't understand why people. He plays the game purely out of love for the game. He doesn't play it, just for the checks. Although that is a great bonus for it. He plays it because he loves playing the game. That's why he does all the celebrations and stuff like that. So I got no problem with it. Do anybody else got a problem? Think it's childish? Well, tough. You can be angry the rest of your life. Not gonna affect me. Okay, so on to the next part. Guess we'll start with some of our awards. Then, so we just discussed MVP and Super Bowl. So here's where some of our silly awards come in. Sort of, where did he come from? Players, if you've been in the league or just got to the league and nobody really saw a big performance coming out of them. I have mine. I got a couple of options for this. One of my choices was Devontae Freeman, a running back for Atlanta. It's his second year in the league. 2014, he had 65 rushing attempts, 248 yards, and 1 touchdown. This year, he had 264 rushing attempts, over 1,000 yards rushing yards, and 11 touchdowns. And I think personally, really carried Atlanta's offense through the second half of the season.
No, he did. He did. It was crazy. That would probably be like my where'd he come from too, because I had him on my fantasy team. He was like way down low, and all of a sudden I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna play him. Kind of picked him up after one of the last rounds or whatever, and he just went off one week. And I was so mad. I was like, you go off now? And then I threw him on there, and he was like good for like 20 points for like a few weeks in a row. But no, he really just came out of nowhere, totally revitalized an offense that really was kind of going through a part in the season where it just had a huge downsword. Matt Ryan wasn't throwing as effective. Julio Jones, who knew what he was doing, Devontae Freeman entered in kind of as the savior of that offense, was able to. They still had a wretched end of the season.
I mean, well, they did.
But if you had anything to cheer about, it was that Devontae Freeman was actually doing something.
Yep, I mean, and that he really helped out beating Carolina, ending their perfect season.
Yes, he did.
The week 16, he helped end that one. I think that was a real spark for the team. And I think Atlanta looks better this year than it did the previous year. I actually think they might be able to return, 2010, 2011 form. Give them a couple of years. If they get some good draft picks this year, and then a couple of years from now, if they can get some good free agents, I think they could return. I think Matt Ryan's a great quarterback.
I do too.
He just needs good pieces around him. In the last couple of years, he's not had that.
Yeah.
Another pick of mine would be Deion Lewis, running back for the Patriots. Obviously, Patriots fan, sue me. He had spent his first 2 years. He spent 2011, 2012 in Philadelphia. I'm looking on ESPN right now. There's no stats for 2013 or 2014.
He backed up.
Yeah, and then Patriots picked him up. He only played 7 games, then got hurt. Seems like everybody on the Patriots got hurt this year. They had a big target on their back saying "injure me." I think they had like over 40 different combinations for the offensive line. It was ugly, but he really exploded on the scene. Nobody really paid attention until I think it was the Dallas game. He caught he caught a pass one-handed from Brady, juked out 2 guys, and dove into the end zone for a touchdown, and everybody started paying attention after that. He really picked up the slack from Shane Vereen as a receiving running back. He and James White both did that. And this guy, he really just exploded out of nowhere. His last 2 seasons with the Philadelphia, 2011, 2012, he had 23 rushing attempts for 102 yards and 13 rushing attempts for 69 yards and 2 touchdowns. He really did nothing, and then he's off the map for 2 years, and he comes back, and he's a fantastic running back now. It'll be interesting to see if New England keeps him next year or not.
I think New England, if you're any sort of back, running, quarter, whatever, you've got to love playing in New England because your offensive line, even if you have guys hurt, they draft and they pick the best offensive line that you can get in the NFL. So you have tons of time, and the holes that you get are just like you could drive 18-wheeler down half the time.
Yes. I mean, look at Steven Jackson. He's off the market for most of the year, and then the Patriots pick him up like 3 games left in the season. He scored 3 or 4 touchdowns in the last few games of the season just running the ball, and everybody pretty much given up on him. So
exactly.
I doubt they'll keep him this year, though. That was a 1-year deal. My sort of where did he go award this year. I got a couple of them. Well, I would put Marshawn Lynch up there, but since he's retiring and he had an injury, I'm going to leave him off of that. Although, great, he had a pretty good career overall. I guess it's our turn to give him a shout out now. And all of his years at Seattle, except his first season at Seattle and this past season, he had over 1,000 yards rushing. So really impressive for what he's done for that team. He just finally decided to hang it up, though.
You talk about revitalizing a franchise.
Beastquake.
Coming in, Seattle was a good team. They had Sean Alexander for a few years. They had the expectancy of a good running back. Hasselbeck was towards the end of his career. They were kind of headed into this slump. You know, they were good, but it looked like they were about to be bad again. And then Marshawn Lynch kind of comes in,
Beast.
subs in, and says, "Okay, we're gonna be good. Don't worry, I got you."
He forced them to be good.
That game that he played New Orleans in like the wild card playoffs, where
Yep.
he dodged like everybody and their mother,
Stiff armed.
just like jumping over people, like everybody was trying to tackle Marshawn Lynch, and nobody could get a grip. On
I've
him. It
watched
was
film.
Crazy.
I've watched film, and I think at least all the guys tried to tackle him had at least 2 attempts at him, and and none of them got him. It was ridiculous what he
ridiculous.
could do.
Not a broken tackles.
He wasn't necessarily the quickest. He wasn't necessarily the shiftiest, but he's one of the strongest for sure. I mean, I
Dude
remember.
was a tank.
I remember last year going to the Super Bowl, they were making comparisons between, well, the Patriots, Seahawks, so they're making comparisons between LeGarrette Blount and Marshawn Lynch. Both of them are big backs. You know, LeGarrette Blount's 6 foot flat and 250 pounds, but he used to be a kick returner for the Patriots.
Exactly, yeah.
He's at 6 foot tall and 250 pounds, you're a fullback. You are
For
a
real,
fullback
for
in
real.
the NFL. But he was he was returning kicks for the Patriots. You know, he's I would think LeGarrette Blount's faster. He's shiftier, but nothing's got beast mode on just pure strength, on just bowling people over. So
No one's got him on that. so.
absolutely. I had one more for where did he go?
Where'd it go?
Where did he go? I'm gonna go with Jonas Gray. Jonas Gray, the big surprise, explode onto the scene last year with New England with a big game, 200-yard game against Indianapolis, 4 touchdowns. No one knows where he's at this year. He spent the first 6 games with Miami, and then just was out there for 2 games with Jacksonville. Didn't even break 200 yards rushing, no touchdowns. He vanished off the face of the earth.
Well, if you want a career guy, you go to Jacksonville. That's kind of what it is.
Pretty
Like,
much.
all right, he's doing good. Let's see if he's actually good. We'll put him in the most volatile environment for a talented football player.
Yeah.
We'll put him in Jacksonville, and if he can succeed there, then he's probably one of the greatest players of all time. If not, it's Jacksonville. Everybody sucks in Jacksonville.
I'll give him a pass on this one. TJ Yeldon, the Jacksonville's running back, did very well this year, so I'll give him a pass on his few games played.
Yep.
But still, it was just we're never gonna probably never hear from Jonas Gray again. And again, that goes back to saying about New England's offensive line. He did great while he had that offensive line. Now that he's not there anymore. Sorry, pal. Let's see. I had another one.
What I always kind of thought of is this has kind of been the last few years. Do you remember that year where from Miami, Brian Hartline just broke out of nowhere?
Yes,
And now he's like on like 4th on a depth chart somewhere.
Yes,
like
I think where was he? He was with wasn't Carolina. It was I want to say.
I thought he was gonna be good that year he broke out. I was like, oh, Brian Hartline.
I had one.
And that was when Tannehill was like barely coming into the league.
Yes.
And Tannehill's like throwing everything to him. I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna be good. He's got a young and experienced quarterback. He's still like getting all these receptions. It's awesome. He's gonna be sweet. Oh, I have no idea where the dude is now.
Yeah, another.
You hear nothing about him.
Speaking of Miami, here's another disappearance act. Miami's defense.
Oh, they don't have one anymore.
And Dominican Sue, everybody's like, this is the defense.
For
This is
real.
the defense. And then, sorry, you got nothing. I mean, the only real noticeable thing is, you beat the Patriots, but the Patriots are melting down at the end of the year. Patriots lost 4 of their last 6 games, so that was an absolute meltdown. So I don't know if that really counts or anything. But yeah, it was like everybody was like, Dominican Sue. I heard so many people saying I'm getting Miami's defense for fantasy. Nothing, absolutely nothing. The defense I would have gone with at the beginning of the year would have been Houston's, because they had Vince Wilfork, Jadeveon Clowney, and J.J. Watt. I thought that is going to be a monster defense, and they did all right this year. They almost made playoffs. No, they did.
They did make the playoffs. They got destroyed by Kansas City
because they put J.J. Watt at quarterback for that game against Kansas City. What is wrong with you, Houston?
There's a few things that are wrong with how Houston does things.
Yeah.
I always feel so bad for them because they're always like right on the cusp.
Yes.
Like they might do something. Here we go, and then they get blown out by 40 by Kansas City.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, here comes Houston.
And then he's returning the open kickoff for a touchdown.
And to get blown out by a team like Kansas City's a good team.
They are a very good team.
Kansas City doesn't necessarily blow people out.
No.
Kansas City will come at you consistently. They'll attack you. They're not necessarily flashy, but they're gonna get you with their consistency and every single play they're going to come at you. They're not necessarily, they'll wear you down. They're not
Yes.
necessarily the type of team that's going to be like, we are going to overwhelm you with our talent and strength.
Yeah.
And they did that to Houston.
Yes,
So I
they-
was
they-
like, seriously?
Yeah, their defense has always been their strong point. Alex Smith, people say he's a bust for a first-round quarterback. I completely disagree
I
with
do
that.
too.
He helped get the San Francisco at least halfway through the season before they went to the Super Bowl. Then he got benched after that concussion for Colin Kaepernick, which I still think was a mistake because look where Kaepernick's at now. No man's land.
Another way to go.
Yeah, and
Kaepernick.
Smith is one of those guys like he's almost Wilson-esque, or Russell Wilson-esque. He can run the ball if he needs to, and he's actually decently quick too. Runs actually probably a better comparison would be to Kirk Cousins. You know, just that quick little read option thing he can do so well.
Well, he does everything good.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like huge, like, oh, here he is. He's going to just chuck the ball 1,000 yards, or he can run or overwhelm you with his speed. But he just does everything well.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real explicit weak spot to Alex Smith's game, and that's why he's able to be consistent for so many years.
Yeah.
And how he's able to actually, whatever offense he's thrown into, he's able to make it work because he has all these skill sets that he's like a chameleon. He can
He
adapt
adapts,
himself
yes.
into different situations.
Yes.
And there's Alex Smith. That's why he worked in San Francisco. That's
Yeah.
why he worked in Kansas City.
Yep.
It's 'cause he's able to do things like that.
Another comeback story. Wide receivers for Kansas City. They actually scored a few touchdowns this
They
year
did.
compared
It
to
was
last
awesome.
year. They actually and the amazing thing about Kansas City's playoff run, they did it without Jamal Charles.
They did.
They did it without him, who was looking to have a MVP type season.
I think it was
Yeah.
good eventually that Jamal Charles went out.
Yes.
Because it made them rely on some receivers,
Mhm.
gave them confidence that, hey, we can do this.
Yep.
Threw him, I think once you throw Jamal Charles back in, get those receivers going again,
Yeah.
very volatile team.
Absolutely, and I think when you put second string running backs out there like that, it's sort of like nobody has any tape on these guys. They don't know what these guys are capable of. So that's why especially with Jonas Gray, he basically got to play for the Patriots after Stephen Ridley went down for an injury. Everyone
yeah.
knew what Ridley could do. No one knew what this new guy could do, and that's
Yeah.
what really made him explosive.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
and then let's see, another word I got is backing it up. Somebody who had a pretty good season last year and backed it up with just as good a season this year. My pick, Malcolm Butler.
Okay.
Had
That's
the big play that everyone's gonna forever remember in the Super Bowl. I remember I was sitting next to another Seahawks fan watching the Super Bowl this year. Big Seahawks fan. Every time she saw Russell Wilson throwing the ball, she thought it was a good thing, would cheer, and then it was always the replay of the interception. So I was always laughing every time it happened because they'd be like, "Oh, Russell Wilson! Oh, crap!" But yeah, Butler really backed that up this year. I got his stats right here. He had 15 tackles last season. This season he backed up with 67 tackles. 56 on his own, 11 assists, 2 interceptions for total and average 5 yards a pick, and 15 pass deflections over his 4 from that's just regular season stats. He had another 5 or 6 knockdowns this in the postseason. But I think there are players that can make big plays in big moments. Like I think there was somebody several years ago that made 2 receptions in the Super Bowl. That some other team signed him to a big contract, and he was really a bust. But Butler is anything but a bust. I remember watching them play the New York Giants this year. Beckham caught 2 passes against him. They put him on, and one of them was for a touchdown, but that wasn't really Butler's fault because he got tripped up. But yeah, he shut down one of the best wide receivers in the league, Odell Beckham. So I think this guy from 2 seasons is the real deal right now because he's playing up to that level. He really filled Revis's shoes when Revis left.
I agree. Yeah.
My other backing up would be Beckham. I think it's backing it up.
I would think so. I'm going to come at you. Threw a Patriot at me. I'm going to throw a Seahawk at you.
Okay.
Doug Baldwin.
I would agree with that.
Doug Baldwin, that's
totally
another one you
agree
could be
with
like,
that.
where'd he come from? But he had a decent season in 2015, and then he just comes up and exploded.
Yes.
I really think that Seattle kind of had a rocky start. But and people are like, oh, their defense started to come back into it. No, they actually found somebody they could throw the ball to, and Baldwin stepped into that role, kind of that savior role again. Just here I am, I'm Doug Baldwin. Throw the ball to me, Russell Wilson, and I'm gonna make it happen. And he basically carried them through the last few games of the season and got them into the playoffs.
I'm gonna go another step further. I'm gonna say Jimmy Graham getting hurt was a good thing.
Oh yeah,
Because
I also agree.
The pressure's always there when you sign someone with a Jimmy Graham caliber. Someone who's expected to get the ball. He wants the ball. 10 times a game. you feel an obligation to throw him the ball. You're paying him so much money. Like, all right, we got to get hit him.
We gotta
And
get-
when
we
he,
gotta hit
when
him
he
up.
got hurt, it was like, all right, I can go. Russell, it was almost like a relief for Russell Wilson. You go like, all right, I can go ahead and hit everybody else I'm used to hitting right now. You know, I can hit the running back out of the backfield. I can go hit Curse. I can hit Baldwin. You know, it freed him up, I think.
And it was kind of to those other guys. It was like, we got to step up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then they filled that role so well, I think. And that was, their offense was really able to step up and keep them going to the playoffs. But
Who was that other guy? The new speedster, Lockett? Not
Lockett.
Ricardo, the other guy.
yeah.
What was his first name? What was it?
TJ.
Cameraman Jason, you're on that right now. Who was that? Okay, never mind. Well, you got
Something
this-
Lockett. Great, very, very
Yeah,
fast
he's a
dude.
speed demon. I remember watching him catch that touchdown pass against Minnesota and thinking, man, you got to double cover that guy because you cannot get beat deep like that. He's so fast. We'll see how he does next year. I think it was his rookie year this year.
Yes, it was.
So we'll see if he backs up next year. But that's definitely one to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing any other dinky? Oh, Theo Riddick for the Lions and the sort of come out of nowhere sort of player.
Well, I mean, he kind of had to at that point too, because Joik Bell's production just went
Tanks.
way
He
down the
tanks.
tubes. So that's kind of one of those roles that he kind of had to fill in if the Lions were going to do anything. And the Lions had worse than a rocky start.
Oh no! They
I mean,
just 0-9 to start.
Being a Lions fan, I mean, it's just
It is
they just
gut-wrenching.
threw themselves into a hole that was almost inescapable.
And
And then they start playing well, like, okay, maybe this unescapable hole might be escapable, and then they lose on this Hail Mary pass to Green Bay, and then it's wrecked. But then as soon as they wreck their chances, they play well again.
Yep, I got that.
It's absolutely
Okay.
mind-bogglingly mad.
Okay, here's their schedule this season. They lost the 28-33 against San Diego in the season
Stupid.
opener. Lost to Minnesota 16-26, which with Adrian Peterson, I'm gonna go against Adrian Peterson and Teddy Bridgewater, two great players. So Minnesota, a real turnaround season this year.
The Lions were up in that game though for a while. It's
Nah, typical.
Again.
Lost against Denver, 12-24, eventual Super Bowl champs. Can't hold it
Yes,
against them.
yeah.
Lost to Seattle in the game they should not have lost because, what was it, Chancellor kicked it in the
Yes.
back of the end zone when now it should have been illegal? Refs, I'm looking at you again. Lost to Arizona 17-42.
Yeah, they got destroyed
Yep.
in that game.
Finally come up with a win against Chicago,
That game was-
37-34 in overtime. They still tried to give it away.
That game was like, who wants it least?
Exactly.
Like Chicago and Detroit were like throwing it around. Like,
Exactly.
it was so ugly.
Lost again,
Oh.
lost again to Minnesota, 1928. Lost to Kansas City, 10-45. And then finally beat
And
Green
then we
Bay.
started doing
Beat
stuff.
Green Bay. I was
Oh.
cheering so much to Green Bay to lose that game. And even at the end of that, they gave up the onside kick after Green Bay scored. I'm like, all right, they want to
Yeah.
give it away again.
They
and
do. They
somehow
do.
they came away with it. Beat Oakland 18-13. That's another one surprise. Backing up what he did in college. Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
That was
I agree.
great backing up what he did in college.
And
although
you can throw
he-
Derek Carr in there too.
Yep, Derek Carr. That's another backing it up. Actually,
Definitely.
I'm gonna take that back over Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper had his on weeks and his off weeks. He'd have weeks where he'd do great, and then
Oh,
weeks where
yeah.
he'd catch nothing. you know.
Oakland's coming though.
They are
Oakland's coming.
on the upswing.
I
right
think
now.
I think Derek Carr rose above expectations. I think a lot of people expect him to fail
Mhm.
just because he's come from a smaller school. I think his stats are inflated.
Mhm.
His brother tanked. He's at Oakland. Of recently, if you want a career to end as a quarterback,
You go to Oakland or Cleveland, and your career will be over.
But no, Derek Carr has stepped up and was really be able to carry that team to something.
Mm-hmm.
And Oakland is a team that has a rich tradition. So like as soon as they start winning, they're like, oh shoot, we're gonna actually the city's gonna come alive. a
yeah,
little bit.
I hope
But,
so. I kind of hope they stay in Oakland. I wouldn't mind them going back to LA because they've been there before.
I mean, the fan base won't really change.
Yes.
Because it's close enough. It's the same state. They've been in LA. They've been in Oakland. They're basically the California Raiders.
Yep. the
They're not
California
they're not
Raiders.
tied down, I think, to
Yeah.
a specific city. But
I'm not a huge fan of St. Louis of the Rams going out.
No, I
there.
think that's
I
stupid.
don't like I'm not a huge fan of their owner because of that. He sort of did it on his own. Really threw the city under the bus. I hope San Diego stays in the Chargers stay in San Diego. And I hope St. Louis because that's such a great sports town. You got they had
It
the
is.
Cardinals, they had the Rams, they had when Kurt Warner was there. Greatest show on turf, one of the best baseball teams of all time. I hope they get a sports team.
A football team never stays in St. Louis.
No, but
Chicago, the Bears were there very faintly for a while, moved to Chicago. The Cardinals were there for a little bit, moved to Arizona. A football team does not stay in St. Louis. They just don't.
I feel so bad for the city because they got a bunch of great sport fans.
They'll
out
probably
there.
get a team eventually.
I'd actually kind of like to see a league expansion if they move the Raiders out of Oakland back to L.A. and they move the St. Louis to L.A. I want to see St. Louis and Oakland get 2 new teams. I want to see because
they're not going to have that many teams in California. There's no way.
Yeah.
Because think of whatever team has to go to Oakland. Not only do you have to compete fan base with San Francisco, which is right across the bay, you have to compete fan base with the Raiders. Because there's a lot of Raiders fans that are still going to be Raiders fans even if they're in LA.
Yeah, that's true. Although I'm going to say with the 49ers on the decline, I'm pretty sure it'll be easy for them to
But
draw
they're still the Niners.
Yeah, that
is another
true.
story
that
franchise, and they're still going to have their fan base. And the Niners fans aren't going to be like, oh, we're having a bad season. We're going to start rooting for this new team in Oakland? No. Not going to happen. They are not going to be like, oh, yeah, there's this new team in Oakland, and now we're going to be Oakland fans. That will never happen. They're going to have a lot of problems being a new team, being expansion, probably sucking at first like most expansion teams do, trying to create a fan base. It's kind of like in the NBA when they try to put a team in, let's just pick a random hypothetical situation. Like they try to put a team in Sacramento. It's just not going to work. There's no fan base. You already got so many fan bases all over California that it's not really going to work to have a team.
Weren't they trying to put a stadium in San Antonio? I heard a story somewhere they're trying to build a football stadium in San Antonio. So if you move another team down there,
again, I mean, San Antonio's a big city. Basketball worked there, I think, mainly because it started off as an ABA team. They kind of built a tradition of something special. They're still not a huge market team, but the players they got there and just their success as a basketball team, I think, has been able to make them successful, and the lack of another successful basketball team in the state of Texas. But Texas is football. Texas is the Cowboys.
That's where I was going to go next. Football is everything in Texas. Yeah. So I think if they got another football team, I'm sure people would jump right on board with that. I would feel like they would jump right on board. They jumped right on board. Remember, the Houston's a relatively new franchise down there.
Well, the Houston's had a team for forever. The Oilers were there for a very long time before they moved to Tennessee, and then there was a gap that needed to be filled, and all those Houston fans aren't going to all of a sudden be Cowboy fans because that would be like killing your family. You just don't do that. So they had to fill in the gap, and they made another Houston team. But no, that's an interesting, very interesting. I thought, what if you put another one in the Pacific Northwest? What if Portland got a team?
Maybe. I think you have enough Oregon Ducks fans up there that would want their own NFL team. I think that's a possibility. I'm trying to think of other teams.
It will create a little bit. It'll take a little bit of fan base from Northern California. It'll take a little bit of fan base from Seattle.
But knowing most of them are bandwagons anyways, nothing against the other bandwagons. I'm pretty sure they'd jump ship if they wanted to.
No, I think if you put one anywhere, if you put one up in Portland, that's just gonna make rivalries up there
so much
better.
I think
it's gonna give Portland something to root for because Portland's stuck in the middle.
They got the Ducks and they got Trailblazers. That's it.
Well, and they're sitting there like if you're a football fan sitting in Oregon, and there's a lot of football fans in Oregon, are Raiders or Niners or Seahawks, and if are any sort of dedicated city of Portland fan, you don't want to be caught dead rooting for anything from Seattle. So I think you could really, even if they sucked, the people of Portland would definitely take pride in a Portland team.
Okay, I could see that. I almost kind of wonder. I've been thinking about this for a long time actually. What other cities they could put something in? Salt Lake City, I think, is a little small and a little isolated to put something there.
Again, the basketball team being there has been kind of a special circumstance.
Yep. My other thought was Richmond, Virginia. I don't know how much space it have there, but it's like there's nothing in Virginia. You think about it, pro sports wise, there's really not a lot there. I mean,
I would think. See, I mean, you got the Carolina team.
That's the North Carolina, yeah.
And you got both teams. You got Baltimore and you got Washington there.
That was my counter argument to that. That it's such a crowded area. East Coast is so crazy. You got working your way north to south. You got New England, both the Bills, Jets, Giants, Redskins, Steelers, Panthers.
Yeah.
You know,
And then down south it gets clogged up too.
yeah,
You got
Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Miami. You know, Jacksonville. It all the East Coast is just loaded with football. East Coast and east side. This is gonna sound weird. East side of the Midwest. You know, you got the Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears, Titans. You know, it's all right in that area as well. Both
You got the Cleveland teams. The Ohio teams.
Cleveland, Cincinnati. You know, it's just all crowded right there. So I agree. Like the East Coast kind of packed for another football team. But there's not. But outside of California and Texas, there's really nothing out west. You know, I like your Portland idea. I never actually thought of that before. But yeah, I'd be interesting to see if they do decide to expand the franchise, because we're gonna have at least one empty city this season.
Yeah.
You know, San Diego's the Chargers managed to extend their deal one more year in San Diego. I'd like them to stay there. I really would.
I think so too.
Because Los Angeles Chargers just does not have a ring to it. It
No.
does not. San Diego Chargers. That's got a ring to it.
Yeah, it does. I agree.
Or maybe even leave Oakland and San Diego where they're at and make another team. If they want to make another team with the Rams in Los Angeles, make a new team.
That's also a.
And one other thing I want to say, the only thing I like with St. Louis moving west is it makes the NFC West the actual NFC West now.
Yes.
You know, I still don't understand the NFC East with Dallas being in there. I don't understand that either.
It's all historical. I mean, they used to play each other, you know, before all the conferences and the AFL NFL merger. That used to just be kind of who they played, and they wanted to keep rivalries involved. So they kind of forged these conferences over who they wanted to play and what they wanted to do, and it kind of worked geographically. But in some cases, with Dallas playing all its games up in basically New England,
Philadelphia, New York, and
Washington.
Yep.
Yeah, they're playing all their games.
It would almost make more sense to move Carolina to the NFC East and move Dallas to the NFC South. You know, it almost made more sense. At least location-wise, it'd make more sense. But they're never going to do that, so whatever.
Yeah, for real.
I can't believe how far off topic we started talking about the.
No, it's good though. It's good.
Oh yeah. All right. So where did we end up? We ended off at Green Bay, the one win. Then they beat Oakland, and then Philadelphia. They blew out. I remember watching that game.
Thanksgiving game.
They blew out. That was the return of Calvin Johnson, the form we all expected him to be in. He caught like 2 or 3 touchdown passes that game. You know, way everyone expects him to catch an over the shoulder, deep in the end zone, 2 toes in bounds. You know,
it's crazy.
And then your Hail Mary, which again was another BS call by the refs. I'm done arguing with the refs right now about that. St. Louis
makes me cry.
Well, St. Louis got a fantastic defense. If you got a team that can beat the Seattle at least once a year regularly, you got. I think St. Louis is constantly underrated.
St. Louis can get a quarterback and an offense that's consistent. Again, they could be there.
They got Todd Gurley this year, which was a real spark for them. Rookie of the year. Absolutely. Then they beat San Francisco, which is nothing surprising, and then beat Chicago, who I still don't understand how Chicago managed to beat Green Bay. Can someone please explain that to me? How did Chicago manage to beat Green Bay?
Green Bay loses to rivals. They beat everybody else. They lose to their rivals. They always do it.
I'll give you that one. And another. Did we already mention this? Where did he go? DeMarco Murray?
Yeah.
Did we talk about that one yet?
No, I don't think we did.
All right, there's another where did he go? From the number 1 running back in the league till somewhere down near the bottom.
I think it's a great example of what people play in systems.
Yep.
DeMarco Murray found out how to play in Dallas' system. Dallas had a system that just worked for the dude. He's in tune, and then you go to this Chip Kelly, throw whatever the heck Chip Kelly does over in Philadelphia, and he's just discombobulated, doesn't know necessarily what his role is, what to do, and you didn't see that level of comfort, that level of confidence, that level of I fit a spot, and I think that's basically why he just trailed off.
Yep, we gotta wrap this up in about 5 minutes here, but I was gonna say Chip Kelly ruined the Eagles this year. They had the potential. If they had kept the same team from last year, they had the potential to be they could have easily beat out the Redskins for
that division was very weak.
No, but I like what Kirk Cousins did this year, though. I mean, he really came up. There's a where did he come from?
That's another where did he come from. Agreed.
But yeah, looking at DeMarco's stats here. You know, from 1,800 rushing yards last year to 702 this year. I mean, and his longest run of the year, 54 yards, came on the last game of the season when after Chip Kelly had been kicked out. So, and I get it where you're saying like a system player. Chip Kelly's biggest mistake was getting rid of LaShawn McCoy because DeMarco Murray is a north-south runner. You know, get him going.
Exactly.
And then Shady McCoy can make it work. You know, run sideline to sideline and make something happen because he's good at those juke moves and stuff like that. DeMarco Murray is a run ahead. I will truck somebody.
Put my head down. I will roll through you rather than go around you.
Yes, and that's what. And he made that work fantastically in Dallas, and that's something they went away from. Chip Kelly tried to make him something different, which he was not as successful at. So I think Philadelphia is in better hands. I will be praying for you, San Francisco, because you got a load on your hands right now with Chip Kelly. I don't know why you hired him, but
it's fine.
Godspeed, and may God have mercy on you because you were going to need some serious help. But again, maybe it'll work. I don't know. I mean, Colin Kaepernick's kind of like that sort of Chip Kelly system player. You know,
we'll see.
A little bit of option sort of stuff. So we'll see what happens here. Yeah, no, but I think DeMarco Murray was probably one of the biggest disappointments this year. That everyone is expecting to be great, and he was probably one of the biggest disappointments.
I do think though that he could come back. I don't think it's necessarily a thing or he just trailed off. He's not good anymore for whatever. I think that he has shown enough to where he still has it, and he can come back and still be a very good, productive player. Maybe not necessarily for Philadelphia. But I do think that he still has a future. He's still young.
Yes. Yes. Well, yeah, he is. I'm just gonna say, I think he's gonna end up in a far better system for him now. I think the system's gonna be more designed around him because he is right now pretty much the star player. You know, the star running back. You know, I think that'll be what he's gonna be really focusing on right now because he can actually. They'll model the offense to his style, which is that north-south stuff. You know, not this sideline, sideline to sideline. I don't even know if I'm doing that right. It's north-south, sideline to sideline.
East-west, whatever it is. But
he's going straight ahead. No one cares about anything. He's going to run straight ahead. So I think he's better off now with that. And the season with only 6 rushing touchdowns. You know, it was not a pretty year for him whatsoever. I still can't believe the Eagles beat the Patriots, which me and Paul last time we were doing this joked that week it was going to be an off week for the Patriots, and it was an off week. Their whole team was off. So I mean, oh boy, I'm still eating that one. Yeah, we'll see. I like where Philadelphia can go now that Chip Kelly's not trading off all their star players. So, so yeah. Any last awards for you got in your mind?
No, I think we covered just about everything.
All right.
So,
yeah, who are you looking for? Quick dabble in the college thing. Alabama, national champions, very well deserving, I think.
I think so.
Great national championship game, I might add.
It was. I really liked the Clemson, Alabama game. I think it was a really good game. I think there were a few really good bowl games out there. I think it was a pretty successful season overall, pretty good college football season. I really did enjoy watching Clemson come through. I definitely think Coach of the Year is definitely Dabo.
Yep.
And I'm interested to see what he brings and how he follows this up next year.
Yep. And the big story around here is the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry back. Is it back because you got Urban Meyer and Jim Harbaugh? I think you need a couple more recruiting classes for Michigan to catch up. I think they're up there. They are definitely up to Michigan State level, but they're not quite up to Ohio State level, which is
well. That's if you're going to put Ohio State at Michigan State's level. That's a totally different conversation. We don't have enough time to do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still think, and I will still hold that Michigan State is the top of the Big Ten right now, and I still think they will be.
I can agree with that considering they beat Ohio State and Michigan.
I do think that will be more of a 3-way, maybe 4-way battle if we throw Iowa in there this year.
Yes.
So I think it'll be interesting to see. I don't think it's going to necessarily be, whoever wins the Ohio State-Michigan State game is going to be the representative from the Big Ten, which is basically what it was this year.
It's been that way for the last several years, actually. But I'm a little iffy on Iowa yet. If they can back up what they did this year, next year, I was pulling for them this year, even though I am an Iowa State fan. But I was pulling for them to try to win the Big Ten because I thought they had a good enough team for it. I'd like to see if Iowa can back that up. I'd jump on that ship as well and be like, all right, I think these guys have a real chance here to be in that conversation. But right now, I think it's a big three. You got Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State. So,
Agreed. All right.
I think that's gonna wrap it up. Thanks for watching. We'll see if hopefully do another one. We're gonna try to do a 3-person panel next time, maybe a 4-person if we can get Jason, our cameraman Jason, mic'd up. I mean, we'll see what happens with that. Thanks for watching. A little bit of everything sports.blogspot.com. I'll see you guys next time.